It's time for a mashup of two different worlds, the baseball world and the basketball world, which just so happens to be my two favorite sports. It's a magical connection, but if you're an Orlando Magic fan, chances are you won't be a fan of this story. The 1994 MLB strike affected many storylines occurring throughout the baseball world, including the chase to 400 for Tony Gwynn and the Montreal Expos' run towards a possible World Series appearance. Although we're not here to talk about those topics. We're here to talk about how this strike led to the Shaq and Kobe Lakers dynasty of the early 2000s. I would like to give a shout out to Mike for this idea, and I plan to release another butterfly effect video before the end of the year, so leave your scenarios down in the comments. To understand the full context of this entire timeline, we need to head back to 1989. This is the inaugural season for a new NBA expansion franchise, the Orlando Magic. Like most inaugural seasons, the Magic's 1989 season wasn't particularly memorable. The next couple of seasons were more of the same. However, in 1992, the Magic won the draft lottery and were given the opportunity to draft one of the most hyped up prospects of all time, Shaquille O'Neal, a 7'1", 20-year-old center from LSU. He instantly became the most valuable player on the team as he won the Rookie of the Year award, and the team finished the season with a 41-41 record. However, the Magic couldn't quite reach the playoffs, so they were in the draft lottery once again, but this time with the lowest odds on the board. Hopefully, the Magic have a good scouting department.
The 11th pick goes to the Detroit Pistons.
Orlando, which got Shaquille O'Neal last year and improved to 500, has jumped into the first three.
Okay, well, they just jumped into the top three. Looks like the Magic could draft a second option to Shaq. It really depends on who the first two teams select.
Philly or
The
Orlando?
second pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Unbelievable.
And believe it or not, the first pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Orlando Magic.
Well, that's one way to start a franchise. In the span of 2 years, the Magic earned 2 number 1 overall picks. Now, unlike the previous year, there was not really a consensus top pick like Shaq, but 2 of the best prospects were big men, Chris Webber and Sean Bradley. The Magic would select Webber at number 1, and the Warriors would select Anthony Hardaway, a guard from Memphis State University, at number 3 overall. These two teams made a trade that sent Webber to Golden State and Hardaway to the Magic, along with 3 future first-round picks. Like I said earlier, that's definitely one way to start a franchise. Also, the Magic would be given an easier path to victory. A few months later, Michael Jordan announced his retirement from basketball in pursuit of a baseball career. The leader of the three-peat Chicago Bulls was gone. The Eastern Conference was now wide open. During the 1993-1994 season, the Shaq and Penny duo received their first taste of playoff basketball, but they were swept by the Pacers. At the same time, Jordan was gearing up for his first season of professional baseball. In his 1994 stint with the Double-A affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, the Birmingham Barons, Jordan was not able to adapt to the baseball landscape, but he remained diligent in his quest to MLB. In the 94-95 NBA season, the Orlando Magic took the league by storm, finishing the regular season with the best record in the Eastern Conference. But towards the end of the regular season, a familiar foe had re-emerged. The 1994 MLB strike began in mid-August. Eventually, the rest of the season was canceled, including the World Series. In 1995, as spring training was around the corner, the league agreed on the usage of replacement players, which promised any player willing to play a spot on a spring training roster and a possible spot on an opening day roster. Michael Jordan had no interest in becoming a replacement player, so he left baseball. And with a simple 2-word press release in mid-March of 1995, Jordan was back with the Bulls. The Bulls and the Magic would both make the playoffs. These two teams met in the second round, but the young Magic beat the Bulls, sending Jordan home. And of course,
it became personal with me.
The Magic would also take their revenge on the Pacers by beating them in the Eastern Conference Finals, giving the Magic their first chance at an NBA title. However, it wasn't meant to be, as they were swept by the defending champions, the Houston Rockets. Now it's time for the 95-96 NBA season. The Magic were even better than the previous year, but they did not have the best record in the Eastern Conference. That honor was held by the Chicago Bulls, a team who won 72 games, the most in NBA history at the time. The Magic went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Bulls. The Bulls would sweep the Magic. Once again, Shaq and Penny miss out on an NBA championship. While Jordan went on to win his 4th championship, there was tension brewing in Orlando. While Shaq was injured for the first 22 games of the season, Hardaway had shown that he could lead the team by himself, as only the Bulls had a better record in the first 22 games of the season. Hardaway received first-team All-NBA honors for the second straight season, while Shaq was placed on the third team. Shaq never received a first-team All-NBA spot during his tenure with the Magic. During the 1996 offseason, there was some talk that Shaq would leave the Magic as he was not only a free agent, but an unrestricted free agent. A 24-year-old Shaquille O'Neal was an unrestricted free agent after his 4th season. How is that even possible? After the 1995 NBA lockout, restricted free agency was eliminated. A restricted free agent can sign an offer sheet with any team during free agency, but the player's original team has the option to retain the player by matching the terms of the offer. Prior to the 1995 lockout, players could only enter unrestricted free agency after 2 completed contracts and 4 years of pro service. After the 95-96 season, Shaq had 4 years of pro service, but only 1 completed contract. Before 1996, he would have not been eligible for unrestricted free agency. However, the removal of restricted free agency allowed Shaq the opportunity to sign anywhere. But before negotiations even began, Shaq said himself that he wanted to stay. Although everything was thrown out the window as Alonzo Mourning became a $100 million man, Shaq also wanted to be a $100 million man. Afterwards, a poll by the Orlando Sentinel asked if Shaq was worth 7 years, $115 million, a deal slightly above what Mourning received. The vast majority of callers said no. Shaq did not take too kindly to this. Later, it was revealed that callers were really saying that no athlete is worth that money, but initially that had not been established. 2 days later, Shaq signed with the Lakers for 7 years and $121 million. It was already feared that Shaq's agent, Leonard Armato, was leading Shaq towards LA, as Shaq possessed mega mainstream appeal. He had already made a couple of albums and acted in the critically acclaimed film, Kazam. You can scold Shaq all you want for chasing his Hollywood dreams, but the Magic really blew it. They lowballed Shaq on the initial offer, even criticizing his rebounding and defense to create leverage. Seriously, who does that? They would eventually offer Shaq what he wanted, and they had the advantage of no state income tax, unlike California. But it was too late. They had lost Shaq emotionally. In the end, Shaq ended up in LA due to mismanagement by the Magic and some wheeling and dealing by Lakers GM Jerry West. He made a flurry of moves to create the cap space to afford Shaq's contract. One of those deals included trading a 7'1" center of his own, Vlade Divac, to the Charlotte Hornets to add $3.3 million in cap room. Who did the Lakers receive in return? I think you may know the answer. So, the 1994 MLB Strike really did create the early 2000s Lakers dynasty. Michael Jordan's NBA comeback as a result of the strike is what led the Magic to come out of the playoffs empty-handed for the third straight year. This caused Shaq to feel the pressure of not bringing a championship to a young franchise he put on the map. If the MLB strike doesn't happen, Jordan likely continues his MLB journey, eliminating the chance of a 72-win Bulls team conquering the young Magic squad. No 72-win Bulls team makes it possible for the Magic to return to the finals in 1996 and even beat the Supersonics. Surely the Magic wouldn't lowball the superstar that brought the franchise its first championship. At the very least, it can be said that the Magic's Eastern Conference Finals loss against Jordan's Bulls in 1996 led to the rift between the franchise and Shaq, causing him to leave and create a legacy with the Lakers. Shaq has acknowledged that he would have stayed knowing what he knows now, saying his impatience at a young age got the best of him. At this point, that doesn't matter. He created a legacy along with Kobe in LA, while the Magic have struggled to find their own long-standing identity since Shaq and eventually Dwight Howard left the franchise for LA. If the 1994 MLB strike doesn't occur, who knows what happens? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and leave your butterfly effect scenario down in the comments. Subscribe for more content just like this, and check out my channel, SportStorm, for even more content. Thanks for watching.